Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Discussions with David, which is coming to you live on the Facebook pages of Cebu Community Radio here in Portland, Oregon, and on the Facebook page of Popular Resistance and on various other platforms. And it goes out as a podcast afterwards, which you can find by looking for This Week with David Rovics on any podcasting platform. And today, we are spending the hour with Darío Díaz in Argentina, actually in a town 300 miles to the north of Buenos Aires. But we're going to be talking about developments in Argentina generally and specifically with land occupations that have been happening in Buenos Aires and how we can all start occupying land in the rest of the world if we're not doing that already. And Darío Díaz is a longtime elementary school teacher in Argentina and organizer as well. And yeah, with no further ado, I will bring Darío onto the screen. Darío, it's I think your mic is muted. Did you mute your mic? Yes. Great to have you here on the internet.
I'm drinking mate.
Good. Oh, perfect. That is exactly as you should be.
It's our drug vice.
Oh, it's a wonderful vice, yeah, and it never tastes the same when you leave that area of South America. It doesn't. It's not the same.
Have you
Yeah,
ever been here in South America?
yeah. I've been to Buenos Aires and also to Porto Alegre. Um, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, years
Brazilian
ago.
people also drink mate.
Yeah. They're famous for mate. Yeah, actually, when I was in Denmark, there was a Brazilian who was trying to find mate in Denmark, and there was no mate anywhere. But we went to Sweden, and in Sweden you can find mate. There's enough.
Uh, uh-huh. There are a lot of Argentinians and Uruguayans and Brazilians in Sweden
In Sweden, yeah. Every time
after
there's
the
a
dictatorship
yeah,
in the
at the
middle of
end of every dictatorship, or when a dictator comes to power, then more people move to Sweden. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. It makes for a really amazing community of people in Sweden. The South Americans in Sweden are, yeah,
yes,
many of them revolutionaries. Yeah,
more than in other countries, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Dario, when I was in Argentina, it was 19 years ago, and the economy had just collapsed. And it seems what I hear on the news about
there was a noise.
Argentina
There
today,
was a
it's
noise. Can you repeat,
ah,
please?
yeah,
There was a noise.
yeah. I was in Argentina 19 years ago, and
Yes.
the economy had just collapsed recently, and with the IMF and everything, and now Argentina is $50 billion in debt to the IMF, and then we have the pandemic, and things are really bad for a lot of people again. That's what I'm hearing about, and there are also land occupations going on, which is a very interesting
Yes,
development. Yeah.
it's a similar situation because 20 years ago, our country collapsed in a sense, in a capitalistic sense,
Right.
because there was an explosion of social movements that were born in the 90s,
Mm.
but in two thousand years there was an explosion, and there was fighters, thousands of fighters in the streets and in the neighborhoods, organizing, fighting against the state. And then we have two phases. It's clear that it came down, it was collapsed economically, but uh, by our wing, or by the people uh, field, the people field, uh, there was a, an engagement with our past, with other revolutionary past, with our traditions of fight, of struggle, and then I I I, I always I like to talk about these themes, but taking okay, being conscient that there were at least two phases.
Mm,
We can talk about what's a collapse in a way, in a sense, but in the other sense, no.
mm,
Uh, the best of our people went to the streets and created double power organizations,
mm.
asambleas populares, popular
Popular
assemblies,
assemblies. Yeah.
popular assemblies like Soviets,
Yeah. Workers'
not a
councils.
Soviet, not a Soviet in a strong meaning like in Russia, but double power organizations in
Mm,
a way. Uh, then that was uh, to put on the relief because governments usually um, repeat that statement. In 2001 was a collapse. Argentina came down. Well,
mm.
some businesses, our people was um, killed, repressed, hunger, well, all
Yeah.
that things, but especially the that phase of the people fighting is I don't know how to say it, how to express it, but it's algo como something that eclipsado, oculto, hidden.
Mm. I mean,
And
people
now,
organized. Mhm.
yes, that's and now it happens something like that. The world, the entire world, and our country is in crisis,
Yeah.
uh, social, political, economical, but always the people that is the future have resources to resist, to unite, to fight, and to to indicate that there's a future. There's a future,
Mm,
and then because I think the enemy of our consciousness of our situation, our uh, is that depression. Governments
mm,
usually want to depress people in that idea, from that idea that everything is wrong. Everything is
mm,
wrong. Government, people, everything is collapsed, and there's no future. Well,
mm.
in a sense, really, if this continues this way, this system, obviously. But I think that if we repeat that, uh, we we depress ourselves.
Yeah,
I think
because there is, maybe they say, they want us to think there's no future because there's no future with capitalism at this point, right? But the future could be so much better with people organizing for themselves. I mean, there's no reason why Buenos Aires needs to have so many people living on the streets. There's no fewer apartments in Buenos Aires. There's just as many apartments in Buenos Aires now as there were last year. And but there were so many more people now living in the streets again.
yes, and if you don't think so, and if you don't believe what the power or what government says, look the United States, look Europe, look at China, crisis everywhere. Well, then here
Everywhere.
you must wait, wait, and do what you can, and see you later.
Hmm. But
No,
people are taking initiative. People are
uh,
occupying land, and people are feeding each other. There's a lot of mutual aid going on. Can you talk about some of the things that are happening with the land occupations?
because the main responsibility of our state under capitalism is to guarantee the citizen security, economic, political, social, and land is one of that rights. Then when the state doesn't do that, doesn't accomplish that, well, people do what they can. Sometimes nothing, sometimes fight and go against the state and take uh, the right, take the land, and they do that things that what's going on in Guernica, especially today, is a town in Buenos Aires called Guernica,
Ah,
and there are 1,904 families with more than 3,000 children occupying.
wow.
That
And
is in the
what is
state,
this town?
and
Was this
they want
town
to resist.
farmland?
What? Excuse?
Guernica? They just named it Guernica, or was it named Guernica before? It was named Guernica after the
No,
Spanish
no.
town that was
Yeah,
bombed?
yes. Now it's called President Perón since 10 years ago. But we all call with the old name, well, that was Guernica. Yes, by what
Did
the
they name it Guernica after 1937? Was it,
yes,
or was it
yes.
named? Uh-huh.
No, after.
Hmm.
Yes.
And so this town, it's a very small town, but now there's thousands of people who have moved in and are occupying land. And what land whose land are they
Well,
occupying?
these people is unemployed, impoverished, inability to pay rent, especially. And the land, there is a
Say that
private,
again. You're breaking up a little.
um, the people who uh, is there is unemployment, impoverishment, and people inability to pay rent. And
Hmm.
land is there is a private neighbor bordering the land take. And this private neighborhood, there are rugby fields under construction. The construction company is plaintiff against the taking of land, but does not provide property titles.
Mm.
And more than 50% of private neighborhoods bordering this land are taxed to the state as vacant land because they are vacant land. But
That's what the state calls
after
it, vacant land.
after the after the take, after the take, uh, one group, economic group, Sociedad Anónima is called here, um, appeared with, and said they were the the owners of that land, but after the take, and they have no titles,
Hmm.
and
No
the
titles.
government no titles, and the government can can do what they want. That surely is to uh, expose these compounds or to finish with the take, and because the resistance, especially women resistance, women and children. There are a lot of feminist groups working there, and the resistance is especially organized by women.
Right. And what has been the response of the state so far?
Or divide all the time. They try to divide people. offering money, uh, 4,000 pesos, that they are $40, or $100. So you can go away and buy something if you can. Promises. The government want to people go away from there.
Is it working?
But
Are people going for such little amount
no,
of
no,
money?
people
No.
resist. People resist. They are very united. That's the trouble, the matter. That's there's 1 month more because yesterday it would have been el desalojo, que se llama, la represión para desalojarlos. But the government couldn't because resistance of the state.
Has the government tried to send in lots of riot police like they
Yes,
do?
the police.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
And then the police leave? I mean, the police have not destroyed the camps.
No,
The police have been kept away.
no. The police went away because the resistance, as I said,
Yeah,
they couldn't. And the public opinion. Uh,
very much support.
yes, yes, but not the media, not the media,
Ah,
not the
the
media.
media, which is owned by the landlords and the and the big companies.
They are thieves for the media. They are thieves. They are
They're thieves.
from
The media is
the
saying they're
mayor.
thieves.
Yes, yes. They don't work and they want everything.
And the media in Argentina, it's generally very much corporate. Is there not a
Yes,
good?
yes, yes,
No.
yes, yes, very much.
Hmm.
There are two groups, actually. One called Clarín and the other one Nación. That
Hmm.
they are historical.
Were the media, as is the Argentinian media generally supportive of the Kirchners, of the ruler of the previous government there, or were they? Are they very right?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Hmm.
Till till 2008, yes. After 2008, no, no, because there was a struggle with the campo. It's called the campo, the, the, the tenants of the land, and then from that moment on, the media was against Kirchner
Hmm.
until now.
And
And they
with the
say
land.
media says or makes an see, influence um, promoting that the government is in hands of Christina Kirchner.
Hmm.
The real president of our country is Christina Kirchner for media, and
Hmm.
that's it. Trouble. That's it. She's also a thief. And then what are we doing?
This is so with the land occupations. People the possibility is that the state will say, okay, you have the title to the land, and it can become legal. Is that the hope, that it can become legalized if they keep on trying, or
For the take to be legal.
with the land occupation there, with the
Yes, yes,
thousands of
it's
women and
possible. It's
children?
possible. It
Yeah,
all depends on our resistance. Yes, I think
yeah,
it's possible,
yeah.
highly possible. But we must resist and we must fight with ability because government want to divide, or maybe a part of the government.
Mm,
There
yeah.
are contradictions in the government.
Mm,
There's a group that want to to send the police. Another group that want to do legal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
And
depends on us.
we'll
So
see. Yeah. And are there other similar land occupations happening other than in Buenos Aires, in other parts of the country,
80,
or
80 in Buenos Aires, 80.
80?
Lomas de 80,
Eight,
Lomas de Zamora,
8
80.
0.
No,
There's 80.
80, 80, 80, 80.
And are they all involving
Not
hundreds
so
or
big,
of
not
people?
so big,
No.
not so big as like this one of Guernica, but 80.
Hmm. Right. Right. Wow.
It's crisis.
Yeah. And what about
So
in the city? Is what about in the apartments and the buildings? Are there rent strikes going on, or are people staying in their apartments and refuse and not paying, even though they cannot pay rent, or are people just being
no, there is no
kicked out?
resistance there is no resistance. The people who can pay rent goes to the takes generally. There's no
People who
involvement of
they just leave their apartments
yes,
and
they
if they
just leave
can't
their
pay.
apartments. They leave their apartments and they go to the takes.
Why do you think that is, Dario? Because in other places in the world, there's
Yes,
more resistance in urban areas like.
yes. Yeah, I'm thinking that now. There's no movement in Brazil. In Brazil, there's a good movement, a great movement, MTST,
Yeah,
eh, Movimiento de Trabajadores Sin Techo.
but they
Eh,
also are rural,
but here
right?
no, but
Or
here
this
no.
is in the cities in Brazil.
Yes, in the cities.
MTST, not MST. Right, right. Okay, and they're
MT,
squatting in
um,
buildings.
sí, workers without buildings, right?
Ah,
But
and what are
here
they doing?
in Argentina, no, cause I don't know,
Do you
really,
do you
según
know much?
techo.
Do you know much about what they're doing in Brazil? You're pretty close
There's
to
a
the
movement.
Brazilian border.
There's a movement of resistance, but it's very small, very small. No,
Hmm.
not a big movement, or like we can hope.
In Brazil,
No, in Argentina, there's
in
not a big
Argentina.
movement in
Yeah, yeah.
Argentina
But what
of
about
resistance.
Brazil? Do you know what's happening there in the cities with this group that you're talking about in Brazil?
No,
Uh-huh.
just a little, but
A little.
uh, I there's a movement like this, like the MST,
Mm,
Sin Tierra movement, ¿no? Movimiento Sin Tierra. Eh, you you gather a group of persons or companions and go to a land or go to a house and you take it, but you
mm,
not of resistance and refusal of the police or the state. No, in the in the buildings. No,
mhm.
in Europe, yes, no, or in the United
Yeah,
States,
yeah, yeah.
not here.
Right.
Uh,
Interesting.
there are important struggles like Bowen, Hotel Bowen, or some factories, but not buildings, not buildings, really.
In 2000, there were many takeovers
One of
of
the one of
factories.
the one of the causes can be the I don't know if consciousness, but there's an alternative that is land. There's a lot of land vacant here, and well, instead of fighting against the police, you go to Guernica to another place, and you can
Yeah,
do a take, and you can establish there.
yeah,
I think it's one of the possibilities.
yeah. Dario, what is it like trying to teach? You're a teach. What's the situation like with the schools in Argentina? You're still an elementary school teacher there.
Yes. Low wages, but lastly, I was thinking this between us, you and me. I think that Nazis lost the war, the Second World War,
Mm,
but Nazism won.
mm,
This idea, in at the entrance of Auschwitz, there was a sentence: is "Arbeit macht frei,"
mm-hmm.
uh, work make you free. And this idea is highly coached by our people, and everything is work. If you don't work, you don't exist. You you lost you have lost your dignity, and that one of the main ideas in the head of teachers. Then in the educational system, this idea is not only in the head of one of us as teachers, but socially evaluated. Then, if you don't teach that, well, you are against the people. Well, there was a French Revolution, not Russian Revolution, French Revolution.
That's the one we can talk about. The French Revolution, huh?
French Revolution, rights, human rights.
Yeah.
Well, we are not animals, respecting animals, but we're not animals in the sense of a donkey. Born to work. Wait. I was born to play the guitar, to read, to go for a ride. I was born for those things,
Yeah.
and that was the main idea of the French Revolution.
Right. Yeah.
It's horrific. And then Nazis, with conscious of that thing, I think, I don't know the real uh, process or the real story, but I think that sentence in the end, at the end of
Yeah.
Auschwitz, is against the French Revolution and with consciousness of that.
Mm.
And then
Interesting.
we can die. Nazi die. I like a Nazi, I'm dead. But my idea is
Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
It's
People
everywhere.
only matter if they produce money and if they're working and otherwise, yeah, human rights or the idea
And
that we should.
in,
Mm,
even without money,
hmm
work, even without money, because
mm,
dignity is working.
yeah,
Well,
somehow. Why?
that I think it's a victory, or I don't know how to say,
Mm,
a triumph of the power
yeah.
of the institutions of the dominating class. I don't know, something like that. I think in that because I was working during years in a place near Guernica since 1992 till 2015. But now I'm working here since 5 years ago, and this idea is everything. Is all. Is the whole idea in the mind of a teacher, and they want that it it be the idea in the mind of their pupils.
Yeah.
There's no
And they,
future in this way. There's no future. This
but they
sense.
make this clear that they make this clear to the teachers that this is what you should be teaching, that this, what matters is working.
What, sorry.
That the students, that the students should believe that working is the most important thing, and everybody should be working and producing for the economy. And yeah.
Yes. That's terrible for me. But
Mm-mm.
um, it's a contradiction. But in the unemployment movement, this idea is fighted. They work, we work, but we understand that something is necessity of the epoch of the times, but not the future, not the essential. Let me say. that the main thing in the life of a person. And in these last times, this idea is strongest. And I think that this idea is strongest um, uh, with the idea that, or with the practices of Nazism
Mm,
in the vida cotidiana, in the life of every day.
yeah.
Authoritarianism, totalitarianism, not in Donald Trump, not in Macron, in our peers, in our partners, in our family, everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, because Bolsonaro, Donald Trump, yes, they
But
are
going way back, like the Puritans, I mean, the Puritans in the United States embraced and many. I mean, this idea of work makes you free is very popular in the Anglo-American Puritan capitalist tradition, as well as with the Nazis. But when you mention the French Revolution, it's interesting because I think that uh, this idea that work makes you free is much less popular in France and other countries in Southern Europe compared to in Northern Europe, where it's much
uh,
more, yeah,
and it's a strange situation because Marx itself and Lenin itself called the French Revolution the Great French Revolution.
right.
And
But in England and the United States, if you learn anything about the French Revolution in school, you learn that Napoleon was a madman, you
no,
know that's all they tell you. But it was a
no,
very important event. And can you talk about the importance of the French Revolution in terms of understanding the world today?
yes, yes, I think that excellent. And I'm a Marxist, I'm
Yeah.
Guevarist, but I think the hard nucleo, the hard part of our theory or our practice is there in that beginning in
Mm-hmm.
the French Revolution, because
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. The song was not the first time in 1918 or 1920 was not the international but the Marseillaise, la
Mm.
Marsellesa. They
Mm-hmm.
sang the Marsellesa. People in the Soviet, then there's something there very important that we have forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is not casual. This is not an accident. I think that is a triumph of Nazism. I call it
Yeah.
Nazism. It's very strong. It's a very strong word, really.
Mm.
Nazism. But between you and me, it, it's a very strong word because if you say somebody is a Nazi, well, nobody wants to recognize it. And I say these things to myself and pay attention of
Yeah.
myself, and then and say what's going on. It occurs to me, even to me, this obsession with work or with some tics or with some ways of being like Nazis.
And also in the more in the sense of being real full Nazis, you know, the sort of
Uh,
having a swastika. I mean, this is also very popular among
no,
some people. You know, here in the United States, it's becoming more and more popular in some right wing, you know, among Donald Trump supporters to actually have swastikas and to be openly white supremacist. And
but the power, excuse me, recreates itself, and they are not. There are we are. Let me say. Let me say. Nazis without a swastika,
yeah,
because it's
that's more popular.
a cultural situation.
Yeah.
and that that culture of work is one of the phases.
It's one of the great victories of the far right that this is so
I think
normalized. Yeah.
I think that
Like when I go out on the streets of Portland, Oregon, putting up posters about rent resistance, about rent strikes, yet people in some neighborhoods, in the more working class white neighborhoods, people yell at me from their pickup trucks and they tell me, get a job. This is the insult. This is the great insult for anybody that's doing any kind of organizing. They say, get a job.
yes, yes, here.
Yeah.
Anda a trabajar. Here, there's a phrase that agarra la pala. Catch the, I don't know how to say pala. Well, it's a tool. Tool.
Mm. Like a farming tool, like a hoe or
Yeah,
something.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And this is what they would say to
Get
people.
a job, get a job.
Basically, get a job working on a farm.
Yes, 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 yes. I
Yeah.
think, but that is said not only by miserables, but even by partners, by companions, by our family. No, 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 not that people who I think that we can do structural changement. We can
Yeah.
do a revolution. We must do a revolution with our people that in their heads think. This in these terms.
Yeah.
That's the
that's the
that's
problem is having the
that's the
revolution
problem.
in
That's the
their
problem.
heads, right?
That's
Because
the problem.
many people will just take a second job. I mean,
And
here now many people are working two jobs because they can't pay the rent with one job. And
and I
so
think,
rather yeah.
and I think that there's the only way to go ahead with this team is organize. Discussing sometimes is a loss of time because we are we are companions. We divide ourselves. We don't go anywhere. Then I think in the terms of the French Revolution. I think in the terms of the Che Guevara, or I think in the terms of Sacco Vanzetti. I don't know. Then organize as you think, and that will be an attraction or will resolve our mental problems because discussing or words against words, uh, we are in a strategic defense. I don't know how to say it, but we we lost. We will not win.
No. Be
We
part of
will,
something that's happening on the ground, part of a project, to be part of something that's
in
real
Guernica,
and
excuse me,
substantial.
in
Hmm.
Guernica or at Guernica, people organized.
Yeah.
They went there, take the land, and here we are,
Yeah.
and that is a light where you can see or not see or think, uh, talk about that, take position, but the action is the key
Yeah.
because there are limits and words I can do more. The
No.
theory is for me, the humble way. The theory is clear. French
Yeah.
Revolution, anarchism, Marxism, Che Guevara, revolution. We know, but in the action we can do it. And
There are
if
many
we
good
discuss
ideas,
if we
but
discuss
putting them
them,
into practice.
yes, that's for me it's we must go on discussing, thinking, recreation theory, but I I I say with humble between you and me and two others, because if you want to do this for masses or millions, you are you have no any effect. But if do things like the take in Guernica, yes, it's the
And if
action.
there are many
Zapatistas,
more,
the
the
Zapatistas
Zapatistas.
did something like this.
Yeah.
A few words, but a lot of action.
And when the state came to get them, the world responded with a lot of support, and the state had to
Yes,
back off. Yeah.
yes. Or
And
the,
this,
M- the MST in Brazil
mm,
is the same tactical strategy, the same strategy. I
yeah.
think the strategy goes that way. They are not Marxists, they are not Leninists. Don't matter. For me, don't matter.
And do you know, is the state in Argentina, are they targeting certain activists for charging them with felonies, or charging them with crimes, or arresting
Yes,
certain
yes,
organizers?
yes,
That's going on now.
yes. Killing directly or charging with that, with delictive accusations. Yes, yes.
I remember in 2000, I think the police went
Yes,
into a march coming from the Annabel Veron neighborhood, and they just shot two men in their heads, executed them. They were both organizers,
Darío
and
Santillani y Maximiliano Costecchi. Yes,
yes, yes, and
Darío Santillani.
this kind of thing is happening.
Yes, yes. Sometimes killing, sometimes not. But they kill not in the manifestations, in demonstrations, not in demonstrations, but in the neighborhood, in the popular neighborhood.
They find them. They
Especially
find the
youth,
people. They
especially
find
youth,
certain people that they're looking for. Yeah.
youth people.
Mm.
And here, from the pandemic, during the pandemic, 180 people they have killed. The police,
For
directly.
what reasons? What do they
Uh,
say?
your face, black
What?
face, your face. Youth, you are youth.
You're a youth. So so it's not that they're targeting people for being organizers.
Excuse me.
Are they going after people because they are organizing, or
Uh,
just because they're youth?
no, because you are youth, especially, but there are some partners or companions that were killed because of being organizers. Yes.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Well, the last one, the most famous case was that of Facundo Castro. That was a young man that was Peronist, was
Hmm.
um, with this government, her mother and him. But he was killed by the police. He was missing, and when he appeared, he was dead. And there was a lot of demonstrations. But he was a guy that was known because he was a rebel. He was he always spoke about our rights, our human rights. He was against the police, all these things, and he was killed by the police 2 months ago.
Mm.
Yes, yes, it's selective killing, but especially youth people, because generally in incidental case, incidental situation, uh, something like finally you don't know what was the situation, but it's obviously that it was impunidad. It's called impunidad here. It was the police can do what they want
Mm.
and nothing happens,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
government protects them.
Yeah. Sounds so familiar.
In United States, we young, no, everything we see we saw it in the TV.
Yeah.
Terrible, 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 terrible.
They
Black
kill
people,
people and they never pay for it. Yeah. They never, the police. Yeah.
black lives doesn't matter there
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
for the government.
Yeah. No.
Terrible, terrible.
And has there been a lot of popular response to the killing of this organizer a few months ago?
Yes, yes, yes. It was a crisis for the government.
Mm,
Yes,
good.
the president was obliged receive her mother, the mother of Facundo, and they spoke, and he promised, and nothing
Mm,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
The minister of security is still there. The police are still there. The killers are still there, and we are without Facundo.
And with the other occupations of the other land, 80 land occupations going on around Buenos Aires, are the police breaking them up when they're small enough? Are the police just staying
Yes,
away?
yes, yes. I have some data here. Um, in Lomas de Zamora, La Matanza, other places here. Um, yes, yes, yes. They kill some people.
Oh, they killed
Let me,
people. The riot
yes,
police killed people.
let me see. In 2015, more than 300 families took land
Mm,
in a vacant place, and the police no, they didn't kill, but they uh, they made them to go away, and
mm,
the land is still abandoned.
wow. Yeah.
Things like
Yeah.
that, because there is a business here with the land in some buildings called countries, private neighborhoods there,
Mm,
and there is there is a lot of land abandoned here, and then the government and some uh, empresarios, businessmen, uh, take that land with the government, and then they they do money with that. But
yeah.
if people goes before them, well, this is a problem.
Yeah. Because then where is the money? It's the big business, real estate,
It's a big business, real estate. That's the word.
and you have such a big country, so much land with so few people compared to the amount of land too, which is maybe relevant
Yeah,
to point out about Argentina. Yeah.
our country is enormous, and there's a lot of land without people.
Yeah.
But not because people doesn't want to go to land and to work in the farm. Uh,
No.
our country is Buenos Aires, strong. Buenos Aires, Rosario, Cordoba, three big cities, and we are all there
That's where all the jobs are, if it's not farming.
because there are shops there. There are shops there. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no option.
Yeah. What's it been? The pandemic though has been a big big that's changed a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of the contradictions are much more intense now because of the pandemic. Yeah, in
Yes,
Argentina. Yeah.
yes, yes. But let me think this. Pandemic a biological
Mm, phenomenon, right?
action,
A natural,
phenomenon,
right?
natural phenomenon, and uh, the economical crisis are a social phenomenon. Uh,
Right.
it's a dangerous way of
Mm,
thinking for me.
mm,
That the cause of the crisis is the pandemic.
yeah.
Cause of the
No.
crisis, capitalism, obviously,
Right.
but well, inside capitalism, obviously, something like the pandemic burns all out.
Right. But if nobody had to be coming up with so much money every month for real estate and landlords and banks, then then
Yes,
it wouldn't be a crisis for us, right?
it's business. It's a great business
There's
pandemic.
still lots of food. The fields are full of food, and we have plenty to eat in Argentina and in the United States. There's no shortage of food. There's just no shortage of land, no shortage of anything
Is
except for
is the cause
distribution.
is the cause of the place where all the the, the, the bad things of the world come, the pandemic. Is
Mm,
la causa de todos los males. I don't know how to say it in English, but
mm. The total
cause
total chaos. No, what's that?
the cause of all
Ah,
the bad
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Are you teaching online? Are you doing this online thing? Are they
Yes,
having
yes.
schools? Yeah,
Other with other people,
and
and
then
I'm crazy. I'm
that's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy because do the students have the internet access
No, no,
at
no,
home?
no.
No.
You must pay it. Both teachers and students, and that's it's a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
So it just
I,
leaves behind the bottom half of society is just left behind completely
yes, yes,
economically.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the other trouble is that teaching by this way. Uh, uh, if you teach 1 hour, 2 hours with your rights preserved, well, but if you teach 24 hours by day, it's a Molotov, it's a bomb petrol, a petrol bomb. So, there's no teacher that can resist this situation.
Yeah.
With 60 pupils, 60 students, it's impossible for us and for them.
Yeah.
The majority, most of the students in September doesn't study anymore.
Yeah. And the teachers, they keep their jobs because they just I mean, I feel like many teachers would be just quitting their jobs if they didn't have to make a living because it's just so terrible trying to teach this way.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. But the the main problem, the main conflict, the main yes, is that we don't have um, no, not syndicate. We don't have how to say workers organization,
A union, a teachers union.
union. We don't have a teachers
There's no
union.
teachers union in Argentina.
Yes, there is, but is of the same political line of the government.
Ah,
And
yeah.
then we must resist the pandemic. We must resist everybody. We are only one person. People is one person that must resist this situation.
Mm.
Well, we are not the same. Businessmen and teachers, we're
Well,
not the same.
if you ran the teachers union, theoretically, what kind of initiative do you think they should take?
If we,
Well, yeah, like what should the teachers union do?
I think that in the first time in March when the pandemic began, we must stay at home 15 days. 15 days. As an example, both students and teachers. If we
Mm,
don't move, pandemic doesn't distribute between us.
mm,
But no, the it was the opposite. Uh, Teachers were obliged to go everywhere, uh, continuing their tasks, and that was
mm,
terrible. But now, in this situation, Wi-Fi free, computers, uh, more elevate wages, obviously, and and wait here, stay here at home. I don't think the task may be to return to come back to schools. That
Mm,
is one of the pressure that the opposition to the government is promoting.
yeah. But also for economical reasons, yeah, because for the the parents to go back to work, they need their children in school. This is the argument,
Yes,
right?
it's terrible. Well, in the pandemic, I told you that it was an excuse. Like everything is the cause of the pandemic. We are like we are. No, but it's like a war in some sense. Because in a war, if you do A, you have you are in problems. If you do zero or you do B, two. There's no way. There's no way of during the war. Well, I
Yeah.
think during this pandemic, do what you do. You sacrifice one of the parts, or you uh, the challenge is what part you sacrifice. And I think government sacrifice people, sacrifice workers, obviously. But I think that our union, the teachers' union, if we were in their conduction or were in their head, uh, could make this establish a pressure over the one against the strongest sectors of our society,
Mm,
and in the last instant to sacrifice them, not the people.
yeah.
But this is the our union is aligned with the government is impossible. But not only the union, but if the union can do this, it's because of our head as teachers is in this line.
Mm,
It's
right.
impossible.
Because teachers could have some kind of influence on the union leadership if more teachers were involved with the union, perhaps. But
Yes,
that's, yeah,
not only
maybe.
involved, but if our it's complicated. It's
Yeah.
a most difficult situation ever
Very, I
because
know. It's true.
because if our head were another one, like in 2000,
Mm, yeah.
in the 90s,
Yeah.
even it could be another.
Because society was really united then, and now it's more divided. You'd say,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And I think that the main problem is that the even united under the mind of the power, under the mind of the government, under the mind of the I don't know, like to say Nazism, of the domination
Mm,
of the of, not under the mind of the French Revolution.
yeah, yeah. The Arbeitsmarktfrei wing of society.
All right, Max Fry. Oh, well, with that idea, you have a government for years.
Yeah, yeah, that works for
Uh,
a lot of them.
uh, see.
Dario, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I think other people out there in the world have enjoyed the conversation too. But thanks so much for talking to us for the hour here.
Thank you to you. Excuse me for my English,
Oh,
please.
it's excellent.
I don't speak English since years. I
I
speak.
know you don't get practice every day with English, and not you're not even you're 300 miles from Buenos Aires. Maybe if you lived in Buenos Aires, you'd run into more tourists from
Very good.
yeah.
Thanks. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Dario. Thank you. Take care.
See you soon.
And thanks everybody for tuning in to this conversation with Dario Diaz. And you can find it in podcast form if you look for This Week with David Rovics, wherever you get your podcasts. And I will see you for more discussions next week, which generally happen Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. in Buenos Aires, 6 p.m. in London, 7 p.m. in Berlin, and I will be, you can look out on Bandcamp for a new album coming from me called Say Their Names, which will be out in the next few days. And thanks for tuning in. And remember, don't pay the rent. Mutual aid will get us through. Trust your neighbors. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.